Hello, hello. All right. Your Metroid speedrun streamer just ended. Is it Oats and Goats? Is that your guy? I've heard of that guy. Verilix. I feel like I've heard of them too, but I don't think I've actually watched them. I've watched a bit of Oats and Goats. And man, who's the other big Metroid speedrunner? Isn't there a Metroid speedrunner that like also does music and stuff? I feel like I remember following a guy because they speedrun Super Metroid, and then I went to their Twitch stream and it was just like 24/7 music. Let me see if I can remember who I'm talking about. Super Metroid. I mean, they're probably still one of the top, right? Zost. I'm pretty sure it was Zost that I'm thinking of. And yo, Debo Jangles. Oh, nice F12 press. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's start talking about some of Let me start talking about some of the folks or some of the things that we're doing today. Here's the deal. I got to show you guys something. You guys are probably asking the question, what is SCM, right? I already saw the question. Well, check it out. So, SCM is a separate category. It's a separate category version of PC. You can run PC with or without SCM. And what it is whenever a battle starts in the PC version of FF7, it uses the RAM address of system RNG in order to seed the RNG table index displacement or disbursement. So let me talk about more what that means. Do we have the battle RNG table on FF7speedruns.com? Random number generator, battle RNG. Yeah! Okay. So here is how battle RNG works in FF7. And once again, thanks to Ace for already having done this. Now, it is interesting what he says here. The list does not appear to be directly hard-coded, but it's not yet known how it's generated. That's interesting. I wonder if that's still up to date. But anyway, so this here is the RNG table when you're in battle in FF7. And the way that it works is there are 8 different indices randomly dispersed around this table. It's as if there are 8 different bookmarks. And so what the game will do is it cycles through the 8 bookmarks one by one, and it reads the number that they are, and then it advances that bookmark by 1. So it's like index 0, for example, might be right here. And so when the game wants a random number, I believe this is how it works, but I might be slightly wrong. But unlike other things where it would advance the position and then get the new number 57, instead Battle RNG, I think, reads DD and then advances to the next position. But here's the deal. So the game wants 2 random numbers. You might think it gets DD and then it gets 57, right? But no. It reads DD from the 1 index, it advances that index and saves it for later, and then it moves to the next index, which might be over here, and it'll get D7 and then advance that one to 99. And there are 8 indices, and once it gets through all of them, right, that's when it would then go back to this one and get 57, right? So So the question then is, what's the deal with the indices? Where are they and why? Well, that is what the Battle RNG seeding is responsible for. So on the PlayStation version, what happens is there is a global frame counter running at all times. So if we go like, if we take like regular ass Notepad, it's 16 bits, right? Or is it? No, it's actually 32 bits, I think. The global frame counter. Anyway, it's some mix of ones and zeros. And this number increments every single... I'm explaining that right now, Scotland. This number increments every single frame at 60 FPS. This is how the PlayStation version works, okay? So, PlayStation Battle RNG seeding, okay? First, it uses the global frame counter, which is 60 FPS. All right? That's right. At 60 FPS, even though the field is running at 30 FPS and the logic that can generate a battle is only 30 FPS, there are certain mechanics in the background that are always running at 60. For example, the global frame counter. Also, for example, the in-game timer microsecond counter, you know? Like the logic in order to tick the IGT up is always running at 60 FPS as well. So anyway, what you have is a global frame counter that just goes up by 1 every single frame ever since the PlayStation logo disappeared. And so what the game does is when a battle is generated, first it takes the 8, here they are, the 8 least significant bits of the global frame counter, and then we can go into a programmer calculator here, and say, okay, so what is 00101110? Oh, that's 46. And so it takes this number and it puts the first RNG index on position 46 of the RNG table, which is 32, 33, 34, 35. Right here, I think. So it puts the first RNG index goes right there. And then we need 8 of these indices. So then it takes the next 8 least significant. It shifts the range by 1 bit, and then it takes this number, which is 100. Let's back out. 100101111. Oh, that's 151. So wherever position 151 is on this table, which is like a little bit over halfway through, boom, that's where the second index goes, right? So that then means that the first 2 numbers that we get called by RNG would be this number and that number, and then it does the same thing for the next 6 indices, right? It just keeps shifting the window 1 bit left until it has produced 8 indices across the table, okay? So that is how the PlayStation version works. How does the PC version work? Well, the PC version has a it has a thing called System RNG, which is just a 32-bit number once again, and the System RNG it probably does. I'm actually not sure about this, but it probably does the same 8 bits at a time method of distributing the 8 indices across the RNG table. But the difference is how this number is produced. So this number is affected by all kinds of other things that also use System RNG. Which the PlayStation, I think, has also, by the way. The PlayStation also has System RNG, it just doesn't use it for that other particular thing. So, System RNG is used for things like, when you cast Bolt, and it bzz, and then it blip, 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 blip. It blips all these particle effects up, right? All of those particle effects are randomly distributed, right? And that, for example, uses system RNG. That same number is what's used to generate the starting position on the RNG table. Now, so here's the big difference, though, is how does the global frame counter work? Well, it just starts at 0 and it counts 1 every frame. Where does system RNG begin, though? What is the starting value of system RNG? The starting value is the Unix timestamp of your system clock on your PC when you boot the game. That is the starting position of system RNG. So, for example, if you were to if we were to look at right now, let's see, Unix timestamp converter. Like right now, this, if I was to boot the game right now, this would be the starting value of system RNG. Which, of course, you know, let's try to grab it here. Boom. Ah, shit. And then go in here, decimal, paste that in. Boom, there's the binary of it. That would be, you know, the binary of the starting position of system RNG. So, Vren asks, can you then just change your clock in the PC to manipulate? Yes, and that is system clock manipulation. That is what SCM is. And there you have it. So, let's maybe, it's not BMK. It has not been verified yet by, it's not been verified by another moderator yet. You can just do that, not normally. So, so this is where the split comes into play. When it was discovered that you can do this, it was very quickly decided this is way too game warping, right? And so it's going to be shoved off to its own category. So PC, if you go to PC show rules, right? I don't know if it actually says on here that you can't do it, does it? Oh, this right here is we'll get into this in a moment. This is how we prevent SCM on the board normally. And we'll get into what this means in a moment. But if you want to do SCM, boom, it is now its own category right here. Now, here is what I realized the other day. My new, here, we'll just go to the pending runs right here. My new PC Hundo, 1432, that run was so good. It is better. It is actually better than my SCM run, which was 1449. Isn't that crazy? What does it achieve for the run? This is a quiz, right? To see if people are paying attention. What is the biggest run killer of Hundo? Real quick. What's the biggest run killer of Hundo? And this is just the easiest example. Big Shoes, there it is. Big Shoes, Earth Mallet. That is the biggest run killer. Earth Mallet, SCM will give you an Earth Mallet first try every time. Let's watch. If we go here, so let's check out the, we're right here already. So real quick, let's go to SC, let's go to my SCM right here. And let's see.
Are you guys ready for the SCM? We are back on SCM now.
You know what? Let me just
Here we go, baby.
I'm just gonna get myself out of here and you guys can see how this goes.
Then Death Sentence Death Blow. Laser.
Oh, wouldn't you know it? He Ice Breathed
Death
Tifa.
Blow.
So now one laser gets her into
Next
critical.
weight is big guard, then steel death blow.
There's her Oh, the death blow hit! How about that?
Next weight is death blow, manip, defend.
Man, my old mic sounded like shit. Oh, wouldn't you know it? First try protecting steel. And he's dead. Have you... The way that you save time this way, Theory,
Death
is
blow,
by executing
manip,
better.
Defend.
Execute it faster.
Yeah, this boss is in the original game. He's called Twin Head.
There's still a lot of RNG, though, and we'll get into why.
Boom.
I don't know if you could hear me talking over myself. There is still a lot of RNG in the run, and we,
There is your manipulated...
and we
schizo.
will get
Are you guys
into
ready for the
why.
big time save? Boom, baby. All right. We're not done yet, though. Here we go.
This is the good part. What is SCM? You're looking at it right
revive. Oops. Cures. Materia. Tifa. Wait. Move the steel here. Morph here. Added effects. Added cut. Elemental.
It's
Mystify,
two
Death
up, dummy.
Blow.
I got better at that. I got better at that menu recently.
ATB active.
Man, no wonder this one was so slow. Okay.
And
Now,
that's real time save.
now we'll go up here real quick.
Oh, what up?
Just skip a little bit.
Like calls RNG to decide what happens. And so using manip just happens to use the correct number of frames to get the thing that we want to happen on Schizo's turn. Okay, we gotta look at what happens on this fight. We might instant escape, or Cloud might have to cover.
Yeah, this was my old
escaped.
setup.
So, that means grenade.
I'm still on the same chair.
Death sentence, death blow.
All right. Here we go. Ensure with an E.
Okay. Here it comes. Next fight is Big Shoes. Grenade, death sentence, death blow. You guys ready? And the grenade is the same as the manip. It's just to waste time. It's just to use the correct amount of time. Grenade. Death sentence, death blow.
And what's great about this is that because his animation is so long, we have time to put in all of that stuff under ATB active. And so now the exact number of frames that every one of these turns is going to take is all controlled.
Yeah, Ace made this setup. Oh yeah, it also does change RNG, right? The fact that it has to like roll for the damage roll and all that. Boom! Alright. You guys ready to see the true state of the run? Bam! Oh, baby!
God, that mic sucks. All right. And there you have it. Actually, the long animation good. All that matters is that you can get your first character in, and then as long as you get the next character queued by the time that animation is over, and the next character queued by the time that animation is over, and all before his next animation queues, there you go. Okay. So there you go. Now, just as a quick recap, did we just say it at the same time? That's really funny. Gull, thank you for resubscribing. So, let us just recap everything that I just said. Let's get into recap time, okay? Here we go. So, the PC version of the game, its initial state of RNG is the system clock time as you boot the game, which means that you can theoretically route out an RNG. You can route out RNG from a known starting point by changing your system clock before you launch the game. That has been deemed to be shut off to its own category on the leaderboards, right? This is only on the PC version. It's been shunned off to its own category with good reason though, because it completely warps the way that you play the game. However, I thought the other day I realized that my new run, the 1432 that I just got the other day, is actually better than my SCM time, which is crazy. It's crazy that we actually got faster than SCM. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we have to go back to SCM. I gotta beat this, dude. And so can you just start your playthrough at the right hour and bypass the restriction? Okay, so let's real quick talk about the system clock aspect of system clock manipulation. Because yeah, people are gonna have a lot of questions about that. Do you guys remember Speed Square? Speed Square is the thing that makes the game run at the correct speed. You know? Everybody who runs the game has to use Speed Square because it makes the game run at the correct speed. Well, it also does another thing. Yes, there's a lot of improvement on the 100%. Why is this updating? There's absolutely a lot. That's why we're talking about it today. So, do you see at the top, random RNG seed 20916500036? What that is doing is it is replacing the system clock as the initial position for RNG. So when you do a non-SCM run, it is required that you use Speed Square, because Speed Square makes the game run at the correct speed again, but also it is required that you use the random RNG seed setting, which prevents you from like pre-routing a system time in the future that you could then start the game at and secretly do your SCM. You know what I mean? So there you go. That's just that's the answer to that. But what's the other nice thing about it though is that means that if you do want to do SCM, well, then you can actually set it yourself right here, with some number, and then when you hit play, right, now without having to mess with my Windows system clock, because that screws with your computer, now, boom, RNG seed injected, the number that I typed in. Does all that make sense? How do you know it's not an SCM run? I feel like I just explained that. When we verify a run, we see when they boot the game that on their title screen, it says Speed Square active, random RNG seed. So that's how you know. Yeah. So anyway, what does that mean that we're doing today? That means we gotta go. So if you don't use the tool, the run gets rejected. Yes, because also it means that your game isn't running at the right speed. So yeah, speed. We'll also like very, very quickly. The thing about Speed Square is that it is first and foremost required, because if you don't use it, this is for the PC version, then the game does not run at the correct speed. It probably runs too fast. It'll almost always run too fast. And so, but then a bonus of Speed Square, like a bonus thing that Mav also did, was replace the system clock functionality with its own RNG injection. So let's get into how to do SCM. So somebody asked earlier, is it only initialization or is it looked at later? What I will tell you is that the part where the game pulls out of your system clock is only done one time at the game's boot. System RNG does then change as you go, but it changes based on what you do. It all changes in a deterministic, predictable way based on what happens in the game. It's the only time that it looks at your clock is as you boot. And so then the set seed function, this is to make it so we don't have to actually change our system clock, which is really nice. Okay, so let's now get into what the notes look like for SCM, because you have to behave in a very specific way for it to work properly. We'll get into that now. As long as Google Docs still works. Hello? Are we still on the internet? Here, let me close this. I mean, let's just try to reopen it. Am I live? Are we still here? I guess if we just go to somewhere.
And if you release too early,
we're fine. Okay. Google Docs is just having a moment. I'm trying to. We're trying. All right. We'll give it a moment. Is there any validity check going on? I don't know if I'm great to, or if we should delve into the security features, right? But also I don't know because I didn't make the program. But also, I will say as well though that if someone were to be secretly doing SCM, I feel like the way that they play would be very obvious. Because if you play in a natural looking way, it would break SCM. You know what I mean? All right. Well, I guess we'll just go back to Legend of Mana here, and we'll aren't cloud services wonderful? Yeah. It loaded on my other computer. Let me see if my other computer is still. Yeah, my other PC is still loading. So we'll just give it one of these again. Okay, we'll just restart Chrome entirely. Hey there. Okay, restart Chrome entirely. All right, anyway, here is the SCM version of the notes. All right. So first of all, the seed that we start on, and yeah. So we're gonna go through a little bit of theory here, and then I'm gonna actually show the run. So if we start at this seed, that means that this is the initial position for system RNG. So that means that based on this is how this battle's battle RNG loads. Well, here's the thing. Once battle RNG has been seeded, it then continues every single frame at 15 FPS of a battle. It advances. And then there's a couple other things as well that do some weird things. Like for example, when it reads an index, I mentioned that when it reads an index off the RNG table, it then advances the index to the next position. I think, and I'm not positive, I don't know all these details. I'm not 100%, but there's another value that just counts from 0 to 7 every frame, and it rolls over at 8 and goes back to 0. And like, if that value is 0, or if that value is a certain value, then it doesn't advance to the next index. It keeps it the same. But I think it also changes the number that index is at also. It's kind of a whole thing. But the point is that, it's always the same. And so normal escape just means all we're doing is holding R1 and L1. And the way that RNG is going to seed here, we're going to escape after a certain number of frames, which then means that RNG is going to leave off on the expected ending position, right? So that means it's all set up then for this fight to be the same. So then when this fight loads, RNG is gonna initialize from where this fight left off, and all we do is hold R1 and L1. We will escape, and since RNG is all gonna play out the same way, we're gonna escape after an exactly the same number of frames, which is gonna leave everything off once again in the same state. And then Guard Scorpion is when things get interesting. So first he's going to scope Cloud, and we do a bolt attack like usual. And then he rifles Cloud. We do a bolt attack, he scopes Cloud, we do a bolt attack, he tail attacks Cloud, then we can do a bolt attack Braver and wait for his tail to rise. After his tail rises, we do a regular Cloud attack and then hold on Barret. And then when his tail starts lowering, we release the attack with Barret and then bolt him. And what is really, really, really important to remember always is that the most important thing happening is that every turn is beginning on the frame of RNG that we're expecting. Because, so we're on the RNG table, we got 8 different indices spread out across the table, and the game is cycling through them one by one every single frame for that frame's starting position of what is the RNG number. So, what that means is that exactly when Guard Scorpion's turn begins is what decides what his AI behavior is going to be. And it's going to be Scope Cloud, right? And then after that scope animation is done, that scope animation is going to take an exact number of frames, which then means that Cloud's bolt is going to start on an exact frame. And that frame is going to determine how much damage is it going to do, as well as like the pattern of particle effects, which is important as well. But it's going to take an exact number of frames to resolve. Then Barret's attack is going to start on an exact frame. And that frame determines how much damage does it do, and guess what else? The fact that it's going to be a critical hit. And so on and so forth. So let's get into actually showing it a bit here. Real quick, would you ever pick another clock time to beat my non-SCM time? One that has different RNG, or does everyone use the same clock time? So you're probably talking about to beat the SCM time, right? Because using this manipulation means that we are doing SCM. 16037. Hang on, I got this up somewhere else. Do I think I'm gonna do a Game of the Year video? It would be rad if I'm up to it with everything else I got going on. I think Game of the Year is Expedition 33, and I feel like it winning 9 awards at the Game Awards. I don't know how much we gotta. I gotta put in my 2 cents. Wanted to do this because my non-SCM got better than SCM. Oh yeah, that is because not the entire SCM run is manipulated. For reasons that we will get into, we can't manipulate the entire game. I'm gonna say we can't. Like, for example, one thing that happened on the SCM run is I got, like, the worst chocobo racing you can imagine. The chocobo racing was abysmal. And that's something that's not really manipulatable. Or, well, like, it kind of is, but it would take too long. But yeah. Couldn't get over the temporal distortion of the graphics in motion. Gotcha. And that's not something that you could, like, change in the settings or something. I mean, I totally understand if there's a visual thing about the game that's just driving you crazy that you can't play it. I get it. Alright. So anyway, let's set the seed to this, and we'll go through what happens here. Alright, so RNG seed injected. We'll say new game, and here we go. And actually, let me move the game over a little bit. There we go. And yeah, the one thing that does bug me about FF7 is that it is it's one of those games where the graphic settings are all about like upsampling, which I just think is kind of annoying. I don't know. I'm an old man, right? I want to set my anti-aliasing settings. I want to set my anisotropic filtering settings. I want to turn off my motion blur and depth of field, right? And you know, chromatic aberration. You know, if the game is running a little choppy, I want to go in and just turn down the shadows or turn down the volumetric fog or whatever, right? And then go, yup, that's better, and then we're done. I don't want to go, okay, render the whole game in 80% the resolution and then AI upsample it. I don't want to do that, right? I don't like that. So yeah, that's like my one thing. How do you know that you start your battle on this specific frame? That's the whole thing, Bombix, is that you only need to worry about that on the PlayStation version. The PC version, it's based on system RNG, which does not change between battles. At least not usually. Okay, so just like we said, system RNG right now is in the position in which we left it, or we seeded it. So then we do our regular thing here. All right. And so what I can tell you is that for sure on this fight, if I just hold circle, we're going to get the first turn. And so what's great is that the starting position of RNG gave us that opening ATB, and because the ATB that Cloud got is set at a specific amount, that means it's going to take a certain number of frames for him to gain ATB. And if I'm already holding circle, it's going to start Cloud's turn on a specific frame, which means it's gonna RNG is gonna go exactly the way that we expect, and then his turn is gonna end on a specific frame, which then means that the other guy is going to start his turn on a specific frame, which means that his AI is gonna resolve exactly as we expect. So he's gonna do a move that's gonna take a certain number of frames, which is then going to allow Cloud's next turn to start on a certain frame, which then ends the battle on a certain frame, and that's where it gets really important. The battle ends on an exact frame. That exact frame is what determines what our level up stats are, and whether we got any spoils from the battle. And now System RNG is not moving. So System RNG is not moving right now. However, check this out. The position of RNG that we ended on, right? At the end of the battle, now all of those RNG positions are in a certain spot. That RNG that position is actually what's about to get used to level up Barret. I don't know if you guys know this about Final Fantasy VII, but right now, Barret is level 1. And now he's level 6. Or maybe 7. I think it's 6, though. And in that moment, the game just leveled him up to either Cloud's level or Cloud's level -1. I can't remember. We'll check in a moment. And it used the position that Battle RNG was in order to decide what his stat ups should be. So that affected RNG, by the way. That affected RNG in a meaningful way. All right, all right. And oh no, it's good to see you. Thank you for the kind words. And I am a Circle gamer, yes, because I'm also a Nintendo gamer. And Nintendo puts A where Circle is, you know? Let me check here. It is 6. Okay, yeah. He levels up to 6. But yeah. Because of Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid, I got very used to Circle on PlayStation. And then besides that, I'm a big Nintendo guy, so I will force Circle as my confirm button if I have to with some games. Like Bloodborne, for example, you can go into your PS4 and just accessibility mode switch Circle and X around. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about it now. So, RNG has been sitting, right? Has been just sitting in a certain spot, which it is now going to be used in order to initiate the next battle. So, the next battle is initiated, and all we do on this battle is hold R1, L1. And everything plays out identically to how it always does. You can do that on PS4. It is a forced thing where the games will still tell you to press X, and you just press circle. And the games will tell you to press circle, and you press X. So, you have to be very comfortable with it. Alright. And now, here again, we are just holding R1, L1. Everything went exactly as we planned. We're going through that right now, Dark Metal Flames. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a half. So, here's where it gets good. Revisiting Dragon Warrior 1. Awesome. Alright. The thing that triggers random encounters is the same on PC and PlayStation, yes. And Battle RNG works the same way, it just seeds a different way. Alright, so here we go. So first, the search scope is going to go on Cloud. While that happens, we queue up a bolt and an attack. And they're going to and so what's important is that every one of our turns is starting on the expected frame, which is always going to happen as long as it's queued up properly. So this is going to crit, by the way. There you go. And now, as he rifles Cloud, we just queue up another bolt and attack. Queue it up again, and he's going to scope Cloud again. Alright. And now we can Braver after this. Get the Braver in. If you fuck up one fight, the entire manip is broken, yes. So now he raises his tail. As he's raising his tail, we have to attack and hold with Barret. And now here comes the good part. Watch this shit. Crit on Cloud to give him almost a full limit bar. And then as he comes up, put in that attack, followed by a bolt. And that finishes him off. Limit breaks take priority in the queue, yes. Alright. So now, we're not done manipulating yet. Alright. So check this out now. On the next battle, as we escape, we just hold R1 and L1, buffer R1 and L1 here, and what happens? Cloud gets his limit bar as we leave. Isn't it beautiful? So yeah, the thing is that, once again, all of this is very volatile. If you get one frame off, everything is fucked forever. But that's what buffering that's what buffering inputs is for. That's what, that's what queuing things up ahead of time is for. Just as long as you thoroughly understand, just as long as you, thoroughly understand how ATB works in the game and what and how you're affecting it, you can do this. Who are the top 3 putting in work for SCM? Basically nobody. Ace made the Earth Mallet, the Protectoring Steel Earth Mallet setup, and then I made all of this. However, I did use a little tool of Ace's, though. Ace did make a fork of Speed Square that allows you to inject more RNG stuff in that just makes routing faster, and then I actually made this entire manip route that we're looking at right now. Yo, Curly? There was a ton of work being done on SCM by Hype Ghost at one point, but he disappeared and didn't like finish what he was working on. Okay. And then we always got to grab that potion because we know that we don't get the potion from the SCM fight. Okay, so I was pretty deep into a technical explanation there, and I didn't want to get interrupted, so, yeah. If I missed any questions, just let me know again. What's the name of the ATB mod? Oh, sorry, you're asking somebody else. Matt over yonder, how's it going? Welcome on in. I was watching Matt play Final Fantasy all day today. Friend that can't stand ATB to play FF7 thanks to a mod that makes the game wait the moment someone gets a turn. You know what's funny is I was not really the biggest fan of ATB before I learned to speedrun this game. And now this game's particular ATB system I'm a big fan of. Alright. Alright. I think I'm going to be doing another hundo run. So yeah, to give everybody like the TLDR, I think I am going to be doing another hundo run soon. Maybe on Sunday. And it's going to be another PC run, but this time we're doing SCM. Because I want to beat my SCM time. Because basically, SCM, it makes all of the really important RNG stuff work the way you want to. However, it doesn't do everything. And I got absolutely fucked on the you know, quote-unquote unimportant RNG stuff. Okay, so I think we gotta bring back the SCM command. Alright. We're gonna bring it back. So, bring up my bot. And we're gonna make a new command. And it's gonna be SCM Twitch, right? Exclamation point SCM. And then we're going to make another new command that's going to be called SCM YouTube, which is also just exclamation point SCM. Except this one is only going to be for YouTube messages. That way, if somebody asks in one chat, it doesn't answer in the other chat. And now we make an action. Okay, hang on. The action's going to have to wait. Because we have gameplay. It stands for System Clock Manipulation. Let me get into Tifa's bar here, you know, and then we'll launch into it again. Typical SCM run. Here's what I can tell you. The record that I had for it was 1449 for hundo. Which is pretty abysmal, now that we know that you can get 1432 without it. But basically, here's the real thing, is that the two PC runs that I did, that 1455, as well as the 1449 SCM run, were both garbage runs. Like, it was really just me. What happened was I beat the standing PC hundo world record at the time. I beat the time on PlayStation. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Shouldn't the PC one be like an hour faster because of load times? And so just to prove that point, and also to research the PC edition because of Speed Square being developed at the time. I was doing hundo at the time, right? And I got the record on PlayStation. I thought, let's just do a PC one, you know? And I had like a pretty shit-ass run that was 1455. And I only came back to it, you know, last month. Or last week. And so what we're doing now is kind of a similar thing. Just like I said, wow, it's weird that I could, you know, that I beat the PC time on PlayStation. I better do a PC run. Just like that, I just beat the SCM time without SCM. So now I'm thinking, all right, I better do another SCM run. Okay. Now it is time to make that command. So add message SCM Twitch add Twitch, or wait, we're adding a trigger. The trigger is a command. Command triggered. SCM Twitch. Okay, here's the message. I could probably consolidate these into two with some logic. All right. SCM, or System Clock Manipulation, is a method of manipulating battle RNG in the PC version of FF7 by abusing the fact that the initial RNG state is determined by your system clock. Except that now Speed Square injects it instead for simplicity. Select all, copy. Okay. Add another one. Message SCM YouTube. Add trigger. Command SCM YouTube. Add YouTube. Send message to channel. Paste. Too long? There's a character limit on YouTube? Oh my god. Okay, you guys don't get the Speed Square part. You guys get less information. Wasn't my idea. YouTube made me. Alright, there we go. It should now work. Alright. So, we are about to get in there. We didn't do guard skip. La da 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 dum. All right. It doesn't work on PlayStation. There's a system time as well. There's not a system time on PlayStation. Like, PlayStation does not keep track of what time it is. The date or time. Will I stream Expedition 33? Later, yes. I'll be playing the new Expedition 33 stuff later. And yo, Dong Disciple. PlayStation uses the global frame counter, yes. If you play on PS2, the PS1 game does not magically, like, know the future and have code to use PlayStation 2 features that did not exist when the PlayStation 1 game was made. So yeah, the way that the PlayStation version works is it hang on, now I gotta do things. Yeah, it has a global frame counter that counts up every frame ever since the PlayStation logo disappeared, and it uses that, which makes manipulation not possible. Okay, so then we do this, we do this. Okay. The other game that I'm most interested in speedrunning would be Mario RPG. Is HD mod allowed in speedruns? No. We, like, right now, the whole idea is, like, when you speedrun a game, you shouldn't modify it. Because, at that, like, the idea is at that point, you're no longer playing Final Fantasy VII. You know what I mean? You're playing you're playing a modified game. Now, we do have you use... By the way, this is a row change escape. Hang on. Row change escape. Works every time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. But yeah, speed square is necessary, though, because of reasons. Because the game is just not fit for competition without it. Okay. And yeah, the playstyle for this, the SCM run, you could do some more wild stuff with it, but right now it is basically just the same exact run, except it's guaranteed an Earth Mallet, and it's guaranteed some other stuff. I'm thinking maybe Sunday, Devious. This is a normal escape. Excellent. So yeah, as far as escaping from fights, in order to make it, this is the thing. Here's the thing about about SCM here, is that every one of these fights needs to take an exact number of frames in order for us to stay on the manipulation. So the difference between a row change escape and a regular escape is that it can affect how ATB moves, but also, when a character does a row change, the game now delays your escaping until after the row change is over, which means that you are now exiting the fight after a different number of frames. And also, it can just prevent an enemy from getting a turn, you know? Sometimes during a normal escape, the enemy gets their turn, right? But during a row change escape, you queue your escape during the row change, and then the enemy doesn't get a turn. So those are things that affect RNG. And yeah. There we go. Real quick. Force this encounter here. This is a row change escape. Oh man, I did not read that very quickly. I almost screwed up there. Okay, the next one is going to be a normal escape. Preemptive apps is not determined by system RNG. It is determined by your step count. Oh. Uh-oh. Love you. You know what's funny about the preemptive apps question, though, is that this manip assumes that you will not get a preemptive apps. So, if I was to get a preemptive apps on this route, it would actually screw up the SCM. It would actually break the manip. I can't remember what I did to stop that from happening. I think I had a thing that I did on the run in order to make sure I didn't get preemptive. Okay, so we'll get a battle here. It's just a normal escape. And then at the bottom of the stairs up here, we'll fight the 4 special combatants. At the bottom of the stairs. Right here is that fight. Normal escape on this one as well. And see how quick these escapes are? They're not all instant, but that's because, you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? Like, I made this manip myself. I did not spend months on it. You know, there is... Oh yeah, someone was asking earlier, like, hang on a second. Someone was asking earlier, like, you know, would somebody else use the same seeds as me and just try to do it better? Or would they make their own? There is potential to be faster if you made your own. Like, you could definitely find a manip that's faster than this. This is just what I came up with. Oh, the tip there, it's a dotted quarter note. So you clear the text box on the downbeat, and then a dotted quarter note, you hit the next button. So, or 3/8 notes, you can say. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. You would hit it on the 2 and, right? Like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You know what I mean? Now, if you miss it the first time, though, then it changes. And I don't know what the what the timing is on the second one. All right, so for Airbuster, you guys are gonna love how you manipulate this fight. You just hold circle. Again, buffered inputs are king. Because when you buffer inputs, everything always happens on the same exact frame. I was very pleased with the Game Awards yesterday, yeah. I was very pleased with how many awards Expedition 33 won. I was also very pleased with a lot of the game trailers. Yo, Zeal! Zeal and everybody, welcome on in. Hello, hello. Great to see you guys. And there you go. There is a manipulated Airbuster fight. Welcome, welcome. What was Zeal up to today? Would it be viable to get a big shot crit? I mean, with a different manip, yes, it would be good to do that. Like I'm saying, I didn't spend a ton of time making this route, and so you could get faster. It's just that, like, in order to find a big shot crit there, you know, you need to find it. And, like, we're talking about all of this routing. Let me actually tell you guys, like, a grand concept of SCM routing, all right? And I might have to draw a picture. So, let's talk about SCM routing. Right here, I found really good guard Scorpion. Okay? That's kind of where we started, right? Is with a really good guard Scorpion. Let me make that a little smaller. All right. So this is like the process of routing This is like the process of routing SCM. So, like, the next thing that you want to find after really good Guard Scorpion is down here, let's say, big shot crit. So let's see, how do you find a big shot crit? Well, there's a whole bunch of battles that happen after. So it's like, so battle number 1, you know, we're gonna have a split here, right? Of, did you do like a normal escape, right? Or did you do a row change escape? Oh. Alright. Normal escape or row change escape. On the next fight. That's going to affect RNG for the following, you know, for the following fight. And then, so then the following fight, the question is, which one of these became better? You know what I mean? Which one of these two fights, first of all, which escape was better, and then secondly, the next fight that it results in, which one then is faster. And then out of these two fights, did you do a normal escape or did you do a row change escape, right? And I mean, how many battles did we have? Like 7 battles between Airbuster and Guard Scorpion. So the thing is, unless you want to stop at a save point and inject a new seed, you've got all of these different trees, you know? And so the question becomes, like, which route of these... the question becomes, which of these decisions that you made all the way through, which of these results in a big shot crit, if any? You know? If any. And if any of them do, let's say, you're right, let's say that you found one right here. This particular sequence of decisions results in a big shot crit. Well then the question is, how much time did we lose taking this path versus maybe taking this path where the RNG was better the entire time? You know what I mean? This path might not be a big shot crit, but it might be faster overall. And so the thing is, well, then maybe you need to find another one. Well, if this was the only big shot crit off of our really good Guard Scorpion, well, then you're back to square one. Now we have to find another really good Guard Scorpion in order to make a whole new tree. You know what I mean? And this is basically what I'm saying, is that we need AI to do this for us, okay? One day, ChatGPT will be the best FF7 speedrunner at SCM, and it'll be fascinating. But today, when the only person routing this is Dash Retro, this is what you got. But yeah, there you go. So that's kind of the answer as to how these manips go. In fact, I actually want to talk about that. So what that means is that we don't get this. This is the ideal Airbuster, but we don't get it. So that actually creates a kind of a grand SCM concept, which is that one thing that we could do is right here, we could save at the save point, quit the game, change our system clock again, or change our speed square seed to something that gets a big shot crit. You know what I'm saying? And so if you create a save and quit right here where you Alt F4 the game and then boot back in with a new seed, then you could get your big shot crit, and then you could go from there. You see what I mean? So the concept that this then introduces is the deteriorating quality of the SCM until each checkpoint. You know what I mean? The longer you go on one seed, the more decisions you have to make that are impacted by previous decisions, and the more like restricted you are. Thus, you just have to, at some point down the tree here, you're just taking whatever you can get, and it's not going to be the best thing, right? So the quality of the manipulation deteriorates over time until you get to a point where the best thing to do is to save, quit, set a new seed, and that is what we do eventually. So to answer the question of what we do, the way that I have manipulated it, right? So what I have come down to is all of Midgar is one seed. We carry a single manipulation all the way through Rufus. And then Motorball, at Motorball, it's broken. So why is it broken at Motorball? Let me tell you why. Because the bike motorcycle minigame affects system RNG. The only way to get the bike minigame to manipulate RNG in a way that is consistent would be if we manipulated to get a triple red bike spawn minigame right away. If we got triple red bike right away, then system RNG would be convenient through the hang on, I'm losing it. I'm losing my train of thought. If we could manipulate a triple red bike minigame, then system RNG could be maintained consistently through the minigame and into the Motorball fight. So why didn't I do that? The reason is, are you guys familiar with the fact that we can't world map manipulate Calm Skip because of the Midgar Zolom? So this creates a problem, right? This entire thing hinges on the fact that after every single fight, we know every fight that we're going to get into, and then every single every fight that we get into has to last an exact number of frames. And after that exact number of frames, the battle is over, and then that manipulates how the next fight begins. And then the next fight has to start, or has to end after an exact number of frames. That affects how the next fight begins, right? This one is very complicated and very difficult. In fact, when I started this project, I didn't think that sample was manipulatable. But we got there. It's just very difficult and very complicated. But we got a sample manipulation, which is great because that means that then you can get a Deadly Waste Steel manipulation, and you can get a Dog Skip manipulation. So, anyway, okay. So here's the problem that happens, is Calm Skip cannot be world map manipulated. Because of the way that your inputs interact with RNG simultaneously while the Midgar Zolom interacts with RNG, it makes it so that we cannot guarantee the number of fights that we get into on the way to Calm. And we can't guarantee what the fights are going to be either. So, at this point in the run, the manipulation dies by default. By default, there is no conceivable way, well, there is no practical way in order to continue the manipulation at this point. What you would have to do is route in a save and quit. You have to route in a save and quit at this point in order to continue the manip. And so And so what I decided is that it's not worth manipulating bottoms well. It's not worth manipulating Genova. And like because then when you get to Costa del Sol, you immediately run into a big problem. After Costa del Sol, like even if you wanted to do a save and quit and then manipulate bottoms well, the thing is we could route it in. We could jam in a RNG manipulation for bottoms well right now if we wanted to and just insert it into the route. We could do that. But I decided to not bother with it yet. Yes, Zeal. That is what you could do exactly. That is exactly what you could do. I decided it was not worth the time investment to do that because I wanted to maintain formations for the Eris kills. Because I wanted to maintain formations for the Eris kills for her to get the 5. She gets like 15 kills. Maybe it's 14. And, you know, that's with like the bolt plume chances and stuff like that. And you immediately run into an issue where this is a preemptive fight. Meaning the number of frames that pass on this battle is dependent on your your timing of going into Eris's summon menu and casting Chocomog. And I don't think that there's a reasonable way. I don't think that there's a reasonable way to buffer this. Maybe with right and circle? No, because summon always is on her 3rd slot. So yeah, so there's not really a reasonable way to buffer this. And so this would just kill the manip anyway, right? Or like something like that, you know? And then we get into other problems, right? Yeah, that would need an entirely new step route, and I didn't feel like doing that. So basically what I'm telling you is that if somebody wanted to put in a bunch more time than I did, then SCM could go very far. However, I just wanted to do a fun run. You know what I mean? And so yeah, so you run into some other problems as well. You run into tons of problems if you try to manipulate any of this. So ultimately, what does that mean? That means I carry the manip through Rufus, and then we don't do any SCM for a long... Imagine the Eris grind, dude. Imagine trying to SCM the Eris grind. It would be you would lose so much time by staying consistent versus just winging as fast of ATB as you can get. You know what I mean? Because remember also that any one of these fights in which a character levels up, their level up stats are affected by battle RNG, meaning that then after that, their dexterity, the amount of ATB they get, thus the SCMing later, is dependent on their dexterity, which is dependent on you having manipulated every previous fight. And this would be an absolute disaster to try to manip, I think. But the thing I said about Dex does come into play. So again, long story short, I don't manipulate anything after Midgar all the way to Schizo. Schizo is where the SCM finally resumes. And the thing is that we have to now take into account the fact that our party's dexterity is now uncontrolled. And that's going to affect how fast everybody's ATB moves, which is going to affect what frame their turns start on, which is going to affect what their turns are, and what frame battles end on. So we have to account for that now. So first of all, luckily the Schizo fight is rigid, solid, it works the same. However, then, on the way to Big Shoes, we hold R1, L1 through the first 4 fights, but the second fight will actually reveal to us what RNG pattern we're on, which is dependent on what our party's dexterity is. Because, and once again, real quick, if anybody doesn't know this, there's a mechanic in this game where there is a global ATB gain multiplier applied to all actors in a battle that is dependent on your party's average dexterity. In practice, what that means is that if your party's average dexterity is very high, it will globally reduce the amount of ATB that every actor in battle gets per frame, and vice versa. If everybody has very low dexterity, it globally increases the amount of ATB that everybody gains per frame. And the purpose of this is that the speed of your own ATB bars doesn't necessarily change as much as you would expect as your dex goes up and down, but rather the enemies, more noticeably, are getting faster or slower relative to you. So if your party becomes extremely fast, instead of your ATB bars going super, super fast, instead, the enemies just get very little ATB per frame. Is the, extreme explanation of what's happening. So, if the enemy's ATB is greatly affected by your party's average dexterity, and your party's average dexterity is now random because you haven't been SCMing for the last 4 hours, that means that on these fights, while you are simply running away, the enemies are actually gaining their turns on a different frame than you might expect, or just depending on your dexterity. If your party happens to roll higher or lower dexterity, it's going to affect what frame the enemies actually gain their turns on during these escapes, which changes how they behave, which changes what RNG pattern you're going to be on once you reach Gaius. So, here's how you know, is on the second fight, if you just got an instant escape, awesome, you're on pattern 1. But if they attack and Cloud covers, you're on pattern 2. And luckily there's only 2 patterns. And then once you actually reach Gaius, this is the behavior that you take, depending on what pattern you're on. And this gets you your Earth Mallet drop. By the way, so I mentioned that I was the one that routed Midgar all of this SCM. It's worth noting now that this Schizo manip for Protect Ring and this Big Shoes manip for Earth Mallet, this manip here was made by Ace Zephyr. So TAS already controls everything on the PlayStation version. Because the PlayStation version does... SCM is not a thing on PlayStation because it instead seeds RNG based on the global frame counter, and TAS abuses the hell out of that already. It's perfect. It's wonderful. Yeah, TAS manipulates everything that happens in battle. It's really cool. Alright. So then, by the way, then SCM is broken again because it's just not worth... It's not only is it just not worth maintaining for you to get a good Genova death fight, which it's very difficult to maintain SCM while you have the enemy in paralysis, you know? And then also it doesn't... Also imagine now, again, the deteriorating quality of manipulation as you carry it further. Imagine now having to double any of the routing that you do for SCM down here. Everything below needs to get doubled because of these 2 RNG patterns, because of the Dex thing that we mentioned. So instead, you just get your Earth Mallet, you're happy with it, you're not SCMing anymore, all the way until level 4 Suicide. Exclamation point SCM, Crimson Hawk. So level 4 Suicide, you know, we then put in this seed, and once again we have to look at what happens in order to determine what behavior to take. So with this seed, you might just get level 4 Suicide immediately, awesome, perfect. Or instead of them level 4 suiciding, right, like, first they throw a rock. This is what happens. First, they throw a rock, and if it was on Sid, awesome, they're about to level 4 suicide. But if they throw a rock on Tifa, again, this is because of inconsistent dexterity. There's 2 patterns. If they throw a rock on Tifa, then you need to do a manipulate with Sid. Not to actually manipulate them, but because Sid's manipulate animation takes the exact correct number of frames so that the next squirrel turn, they decide to level 4 suicide because of how RNG ends up. Then, SCM is dead. We don't do any more after that until this part. Now I have to actually see this. I have to see why we SCM here. I think it's that this save and reset is for the regular game, and the seed is incidental. Right? No, I think it's for Shinra Beta. It's for Shinra Beta, actually. Okay. So then, when we save and reset anyway, for the gold chocobo manipulation, we set this seed. This seed then makes us do a certain amount of damage to what's his face? Ultimate Weapon. So Knights of the Round happens. And then once we get into oh yeah. Okay. So then we get into this place. We get into the underwater reactor. And on the first fight, I think we just hold circle to slash all with Tifa, and then we have to look at what drops. If a Shinra Beta drops, we're already good. We can just hold circle on the second guards fight. But if the first guy's dropped an S-mine, then Cloud has to attack before the slash all. And if nothing dropped, then Sid has to row change, Cloud has to attack, and then you slash all. And this will give you, and that will give you a Shinra Beta. So now there's 3 patterns that can happen on this fight, depending on dexterity. And yeah, Bombix, exactly. It's worth noting also, I'm almost sure this is true, but not 100%. I think that the global multiplier does not take into account things like if steel is equipped, which gives you dex, or if you used speed sources. I don't think that those are accounted for. Which is why when we give 1,000,000 speed sources to Cloud, then his ATB bar does go really fast. And I think if you did it to everybody, it would. But okay, anyway. So then, we're just, we're out of here. No SCM for a while. Chocobo racing. Here's an interesting one. We can actually SCM an enemy away. From... I can't remember if this is from... I think this is from racing. Yes. Because it gives us a... I think it gives us a race where whether Teo is there or not, we get the enemy away. I think that's how this works. And then but that was the problem. So this is what killed my SCM run. That's a 1449. Is that I got enemy away and I didn't get sneak attack. It took us 1,000,000 extra races to get sneak attack. And for some reason there's not a manip for that one, and I can't remember why. Oh. Wait. No. It's not that. I think we manip for sneak attack later, and we didn't get enemy away is what it is. I'm almost positive when we go back for special battle, yes. When we save, and this is what it was. When we save and reset for the gold saucer return later, we also set our seed if we need sneak attack. And then we go to Chocobo Square and we do a race for sneak attack real quick. However, enemy away we need to get right away. So this is a seed that gets you enemy away, but we can't use it because it would screw up formations. So this is like just kind of something, I don't know. This is just for interest right now. But yeah, and then on my PB, I didn't get enemy away for a million years. Anyway, what's next? Then we don't SCM for a long time. In fact, I think the next one... What is this for? Oh, for, Mirror. Yeah. So here for Mirror, we set a seed in front of Nibelheim, and then on Lost Number, you just hold circle, and then depending on dexterity, Cloud might crit. That's the key as to whether or not, which RNG pattern we're on, is whether Cloud crits. So then, whether Cloud crits, you behave differently on this fight, which then gets you your mirror drop. And then that also goes into a quad question mark. And hey, everybody who's just joining in, by the way, welcome, welcome. Sorry, we're deep into the numbers right now. So yeah, just hold circle, escape, and then this one also has a split where you might just escape right away, or I think Fabio, he's gonna hit someone or he's gonna hit Cloud. And then either we get quad question marks right away, or we have to do 2 row changes. And then there you go. Then we have all that we need there. Here's a seed for Lunar Curtain if we need it. Loco Weed. Oh yeah, this is Lunar Curtain into Loco Weed. This is both. What up, Papa Nug? This is SCM routing. Yeah, this is Lunar Curtain into Loco Weed. I believe it gets you both. And then I want to say the last thing is Kiss of Death. Yeah, then you're not SCMing anything anymore until here we go. Then you SCM Northern Crater, which is... Oh, yeah! It's that you do Northern Crater like normal, and then if you didn't already get a Kiss of Death, then you plop down the save crystal, reset, put down this seed, row change escape from the zombie dragon, and then you fight death dealers, and lead with a Cloud 4 times cut, and then whether they starred Yuffie or starred Vincent, you do a different thing. And then that gets you both Roulette and Kiss of Death. Right, because they just naturally Roulette Cloud. Yeah. Oh, and that's it. So that's the entire route. Anyway, let's get back to what we were doing. I don't know how I just got on the I don't know how I just got on the sidetrack of, like, I just explained the entire route from start to finish. But the point I was trying to make that entire time is that you don't carry the same SCM throughout the whole route. In fact, the majority of the route, at least how I've routed it, the majority of the route is not even manipulated. We only just manipulate the particular pain points. But you could, if you wanted to spend months on it, you could make a, you could make a much, much stronger SCM route. So where does that bring us to today? And once again, why am I here today? I'm here today because my current SCM record is 1449, which is wacko, because that means that the 1432 that I got the other day is actually better than the SCM route, which is crazy. So we're going to do another SCM run in order to get our guaranteed sub 1430. But I kind of have to practice. We got to practice a little bit. So right now I'm practicing just going back through Midgar. And... oh, hey, we could learn... I could maybe learn Playground Skip now also. There you go, that's what SCM is. Welcome on in, this is stupid. Whoa, I just got a deja vu burst there. You know, where, like, the kind where it's like...
yes.
The kind where it's like, I remember what's currently happening, even though it couldn't have possibly happened before. It happens when they change something. All right. Do the run. Get the fight. Yeah. I've got a little theory about it. I feel like what's happening is that, like, your short-term memory is lagging out a little bit to where it's like something that's happening has like already been transferred to your long-term memory. And so, oh. Hang on, I have to, there we go. I didn't want to screw that up. You know what I mean? It's like if your short-term memory lags out a little bit, then it's like by the time you're perceiving something and it's already in your memory, instead of like your frontal lobe perception or whatever, then it'll feel like you remember it. So maybe short-term memory lagging isn't the right way to say it, but rather it's more like, you know, your frontal lobe or whatever. Whatever is like the real-time perception sector, you know what I mean? And thank you guys for being up on the SCM questions. All right. So yeah, right now we are deep into a manipulation, and we will see the rest of it happen here. Man, I should practice. Should we bring up Ultima and practice Playground Skip? Should I learn Playground Skip on PC? It has a 50-50 chance to save a minute. But if it doesn't save a minute, then it loses you the time that it takes to set up. Which is like 5 seconds.
Yes.
And then and if we do, then I get to show off Ultima. I don't think it'll mess with SCM. I don't see how it could. Well, I mean, I see how it could, but hopefully it won't. Movement on fields does not affect SCM whatsoever. Unless, you know, we're talking about getting off steps and then you get the wrong formation, right? If you ever fight the wrong formation, then SCM's fucked. But besides that, you're fine. Yeah, exactly, Ace. That's why I was saying, like, I can imagine the thing it could do that would screw it up. I just don't really see why it would do that. So we're probably fine. When am I doing the run? I'm thinking Sunday. But I need to practice the sample fight. Speaking of, I should make a save in front of sample. I probably have one already, actually. Make a save so that I can use SCM square. Remember SCM square? In order to practice it. Whoop. All right. Here we go. So let's introduce Ultima now. So Ultima is another fun thing that Mav made. Do I have it in here? Do I have it in here? Do I have it in here? No, I got to get the new version of it. Okay, hang on a second. Take me here. Don't worry about the desk. Take me out here. Because I got to boot up Discord here. Yeah, it's cold out today, yeah. I can feel it in my tootsies. Resources. Ultima, there it is. Okay. We're there. So, this is Ultima. It was made by, Mav. The same guy that made Speed Square. We trust him. Yeah, uninstall, because we'll reinstall, and then we'll get the, because I think this is going to be the latest one now. You know what? Give me a desktop shortcut. Yeah, there is a real skip 16-bit, but it's only got a 50-50 chance to work. Okay, this is Ultima. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with Ultima. Like, for example, if we go into our menu here, we can just pop in here, and what if we just take, 12 minutes off of our IGT? Oops. Oh. Maybe this is harder to type than I expected. There we go. Boom. Oh, look at that. We changed our IGT. So yeah, you can do stuff like that. And then we can also make save states. And the save states is really the really cool thing. Oh, hey, look, it's all my save states. Wow. Wait, did I make these? Or do these come with it? These 100% look like my save states. Okay. Let's put all these into a category. All right, I need to categorize these. Change category. I think this is any percent. So, boom, category, any percent. What? I thought I did bulk action, change category, any percent. Okay. That only does this one. Okay. So I don't know if the bulk action works properly. But anyway, right now we can go new state, and this one's going to be playground skip. Where did that go? Oh, maybe you can't do it while you're in a menu? New state. Playground skip? There we go. Yeah. You can't do it while you're in a menu. Makes sense, because it has to do with a field module. Okay, so this is playground skip. When you come in here, you turn on the things. You run down, run left, and then walk up to, I think it's this spot. And then you try to go, and that time it didn't work. I think it's that spot, but I'm going to have to try it a few times. Look at that. Save states on the PC version. Isn't that crazy? The problem is that this skip only has a 50% chance to work, so it's really easy to get false negatives on what the setup is. Because I think it's this. But you know, you need to fail it like 5 times for you to make sure that it's not that. Okay, I don't think it's that. Yeah. This is certainly not my my PlayStation setup. Maybe it's this? We gotta find it. We gotta find the setup position. We might just be unlucky, yeah. I feel like it's not that one. What's happening? I'm trying to learn the skip that's a 50-50 chance to work. On top of SCM. Okay, it's definitely not that spot. I don't think it's that spot. Because I've seen it fail 2 different ways, which means we've seen both sides of the coin. So, what if we go one past that? Like, what if we go right here? Or actually, I think I just noticed something weird. So here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the top of the wrist versus the top of the triangle. There's 2 positions that go right there. Okay, that I didn't know. That's bad. Okay. No, it is a, the thing that we're manipulating with SCM is a different RNG system. F5? Oh, wow. That's really cool. Thanks for the tip. Oh, we found it. All right, there it is. There it is. Look at that. You see that? How about that? It's only a 50-50 chance, though. So here's the position, and then you hold L1, X, and up, and half the time you get caught. That's why I haven't really bothered with it before, but if it works, it saves a minute. Caught again. Caught again. On PlayStation, you can do it consistently. And that time it worked. So there you go. Okay, I will try to internalize where that position is and not forget it. So here's the big payoff, is here we don't have the cutscene here. The cutscene here where you sit on top of the slide, you have to see Tifa come out of the thing, you skip that entire thing. So it saves over a minute if you do it quickly. And you get it, of course. If you don't get it, you lose like 5 seconds from setting it up, and if you do get it, you save like a minute. All right. Yep, and the game just continues to work. I mean, there are plenty of soft locks you can do if you do certain skips and tricks and stuff in the game, but that one works. All right. So I'll start going for playground skip. So if I try to beat the 1432 and get a sub 1430, we will be going for playground skip on those attempts also. It's hard to explain what makes it consistent on. Okay, actually we have time because I have to do wall market. So why is it 50-50 on PC but not on PlayStation? The reason is it works the exact same way on both systems, right? Meaning that people used to think, or the PlayStation version used to be considered 50-50 as well. And the reason it's 50-50 is what exactly you're doing is that there are 2 triangles on the ground that are checking to see whether Cloud is standing on them in order to start the cutscene. But they only check every other frame because of the way that the script is written. For some reason, because of the way that the script is written, they only check every other frame. So the setup position, puts you into a spot where when you run past, you only spend 1 frame standing on the box. And then on the next frame, you're already out of it. So it's 50-50 whether or not the frame that you're standing in the triangle is the frame that is being checked. You know what I mean? So that's what makes it 50-50. So the reason that it is consistent on PlayStation is that what I found out, this was my trick, is that if you do not use the hand pointer and the red arrows all the way up until this point in the game, or at least you don't use them as recently as the last time that you got into a battle, then their animation state is still in its initialized position. And if you buffer the select button while you load into that room, it will always turn the arrows on a consistent frame relative to the checking versus not checking of the script of those triangles. And so what that means is you can use the visual of the arrows blinking in order to time your passage. And the reason that doesn't work on the PC version is because simply because on the PC version, you cannot buffer. Like if I try to do it right now, you see how it turns the arrows on during the fade out? Yeah, it doesn't do that on PlayStation. And that's the problem, is that on PlayStation, you can buffer select during the transition, and then again, that starts their animation pattern on a consistent frame relative to the checking. But on PC, you can't, because there's no time in which you can buffer in order to make sure that it loads on that consistent frame. Ba-do-do-do-do-do. Okay. Now, I was planning on playing the new Expedition 33 stuff today, the new, like, dungeon thing. But knowing me, the fact that we're going into something technical about FF7 means we're going to be here all day. I got the tiara, right? I might not have gotten the tiara. And yo, Cosmo. On the original PlayStation hardware, you can skip the CG cinematics by opening and closing the disk drive lid. Is that legal? It is specifically a rule that you're only allowed to open the disk tray when the game prompts you to. And the other reason for that rule is that if you can open your disk tray at other times, then you can do things like put in a different game on the world map, and then it makes really wild stuff happen. There's actually a very, very cool speedrun that uses that tech. But yeah, as far as the speedrun.com leaderboards go, it is disallowed. Is there a thing like key items? Does Ultima have anything about key items? I mean, I guess I can just look if I have it. Key items? Oh, we do have the diamond tiara. Okay, good. And yo, Ken? Yeah, talking about the SCM route that I already made, I just want to do it. I just want to do better. I want to have a better run. First week at work, Ben, or first week back, it was real good. You know, a little stressful with how snowy it's been up here in Minnesota. But you know, other than that, I mean, the thing is, I work from home mostly, but there is some stuff I need to do at some other sites right now. And so I need to get out there and move some stuff around, but, you know, it's been really snowy and I don't have the snow tires on my car yet. I have an appointment on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'll be getting the snow tires on, so then I'll feel better about driving around. Popping the disc after casting regen and it heals you to full while paused. I've heard that people did that. I've never done it myself. Okay, We're about to get back into some very fun SCM stuff, by the way. It's been a little dry, you know, this portion of the game is all cutscenes for a minute. But we're about to get into some fun stuff. And yo, Johnny Bravo, I appreciate the kind words. And thanks for subscribing. How about that? Was Johnny Bravo like a show or something? The name is very familiar. It was like a cartoon, right? Yeah. I watched a little bit of Cartoon Network, but not a lot, because again, I've always been I have always been a video game guy. I've watched not a lot of TV, you know. Of course, I watched The Simpsons, right? But as far as like more like kid show kind of stuff, when I was a little older, I watched SpongeBob SquarePants, and I liked Fairly Odd Parents also. I watched a lot of Fairly Odd Parents. And what up, four-wheel drive Jeeper? Playing FF7 now. Excellent. Love to hear. I always love to hear it. How much has viewership changed lately? It's been pretty massive difference. You know, the subathon was, it's been like double on, we've settled down now to like double on Twitch, and then about the same on YouTube, as in like YouTube is like matching Twitch viewership, while before when I streamed to YouTube I would get like 5 viewers. So that part's been very cool. Excellent. Yeah, I've always loved The Simpsons. At least the old stuff, you know. Exclamation point SCM. Boom, there it is. I've always loved old Simpsons. Around like yeah, a little bit later. Like nowadays I feel like anything after season 8 is pretty bad. But when I was younger, I tolerated probably through like season, I don't know, 12-ish is probably when I quit watching. Alright. Can I recite steamed hams? I can tell you that the name of the episode is like, what is the name of that episode? It's called like 20 short stories about Springfield or something. And I think it's season 6. And yo, Rufio. Okay, we are back to SCM, by the way. We are prepping for a speedrun. Okay, back to SCM. This is Cloud Tifa Eris Bolt Grenades. Cloud Tifa Eris. And because we are in ATB active, we know that all of these moves are starting on the exact correct frames. And now we just hold circle. All we gotta do is hold circle for the rest of the fight. And this should get us a fast apps because of Tifa's ATB right here. Her limit gets her a fast ATB bar right there, which gets her this grenade. It gets her this grenade that she wouldn't normally get, and that gets the kill. And then, yeah, someone asked, do I stream weekends? I stream every other day, is the answer. And I think on Sunday, I'm going to go for this SCM hundo, maybe. Okay, this is a row change escape, followed by 3.5 steps. Who plays retro games on his old school TV? Okay, I like that. That's fun. 1, 2, 3.5. And now, there is a menu that we got to be doing here. So we go up here. And then we get into... We get into some fun SCM stuff here, but we need to... we gotta pay attention. So here, right away, we put Steel on Tifa, and then... Yeah, okay. So now, on this first fight, check this out. This is some good SCM right here. Buffer down and circle as the fight starts. And then right when the Steel starts, we start holding R1, L1. Boom, we get an Ether. Alright. That's fun. And then... Steel as Tifa gets hit, and then R1, L1 as Steel begins. So remember, all of this, like every single one of these battles needs to last the exact correct number of frames, which is why buffering inputs is so important. So here we go Steel right when Tifa gets hit. There it is. And then, right when she actually goes off, boom, then we start holding R1, L1. And there's our Ghost Hand Steel. Then, we gotta go in here and move the Steel to Cloud, right? We move it right here, though. Yeah. Then we gotta move the Steel to Cloud. And am I going to switch streaming days when the baby comes? Absolutely. I have no clue what the streaming schedule will look like once there is a baby. I mean, when there's a baby right away... Okay, here, once again. So now we can buffer down and circle. Because we gave Cloud the Steel materia. And there you go. Mog, thank you for gifting that sub. So yeah, we needed to move the Steel to Cloud because that fight was preemptive, which means that Cloud is coming up first. And we needed to put it over his green materia because if his menu was attack, magic, Steel, then buffering down and circle wouldn't work. And we need to buffer down and circle so that it launches on the correct frame. And yeah, there we go. Any plans on going full-time by the time the baby comes? I mean, I don't think that my I don't think that my popularity is gonna go up to being able to live off of streaming when I have a mortgage to pay and a baby, you know? So I think it's gonna remain a hobby. But hey, if anyone wants to buy my house for me, that would certainly change things. Oh my gosh, we got it. I screwed up. I screwed up the SCM right there. I was supposed to be buffering L1, R1, down, and circle all at the same time. So there, I just killed the SCM because I did one fight incorrectly. Well, now we're gonna have to see if I have any save files. I think I should. You have a daughter? We are going to have a daughter. So now if I buffer up and circle, jamming a Braver should not work here. Well, I mean, I can jam the Braver, but I won't be able to, like, the rest of this isn't going to go the right way. Maybe I didn't screw up the SCM. We do have a name picked out, yes. But we're not saying it yet. We haven't even told our parents or siblings or anything. And I'm also not even gonna play the game of is it this or is it that, right? Not even gonna say no to names that it's not. You know. But yeah. Really looking forward to it, of course. And yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be naming her a single letter to save her time whenever she has to write her name on down. Did I play the new Expedition 33 yet? Not yet. I would like to do that tonight. It's a secret to everybody. Exactly. They outdid themselves again. It's good to hear. I'm excited about it. And what an awesome thing to do, by the way. What do you call it? Sorry. Yeah. Them getting their expansion prepared for Game of the Year. For the Game Awards and then announcing it in their Game of the Year speech. That's super cool. Why not raise P-Town? I don't know if you would want to. I don't want to, you know. On a personal level, I don't get along with the guy. And that's about that. You're right, though, that, like, that kind of drama is sort of exciting viewership-wise, you know? You know, there's something to be said about that, for sure. But, I mean, he's always accusing me of cheating, so I don't think that he would, I don't think that he'd want to race me. And yes, Squidzilla, system clock manipulation, exactly. If I'm cheating, cheat better. What's the drama? Oh, there's like one other guy that runs Hundo on PC, and yeah, he like when I beat his records, he was saying I cheated and a bunch of just like making up a bunch of bullshit. I mean, honestly, it's like he kind of wrote like an entire fan fiction about me. about how like I cheated and I like single-handedly changed all of the rules of running to give myself an advantage. Oh yeah, also that I need to go. I'm going back to work at GameStop again or something. It was a whole fucking thing. Very, very weird thing to read. Like from my perspective, right? Of just like seeing like a whole paragraph of just bullshit about me, you know? Very strange. And then it hasn't really ended there either though, you know? Because the other day, right? So last week, right, with the subathon, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half, something like that. Looks like I was fast enough, okay. But yeah, and then like just last week when I was doing runs, you know, there are certain things that just make their way around to me, you know, things that are said on Discord and whatnot, which was just more random cheating accusations, right? Well, actually, his wording was very funny. So something he posted about me came around to me, which was, the wording of it was, well, so abstractly, the first half of it was just, oh, Dash only does like 2 hundos a year and gets perfect RNG, right? Just complaining about that. But then the wording of the second half was like, if you didn't know better, you'd be looking very closely for cheating, right? Which is, of course, like the vague posting insinuation, right? It's not Dash is cheating. It's just this, like, smarmy, salty, if you didn't know better, you'd be looking for cheating, you know? Which, first of all, is funny. Secondly, the extra funny thing is if you really think about that wording, it means that you wouldn't look for cheating if you did know better. Right. Like, the actual meaning of those words is, if you do know what you're looking at and what you're talking about, then you wouldn't be looking for cheating. But anyway, so that's all that. But, so anyway, my whole point, though, is to answer the question of, would I, you know, like, the idea of doing, like, a race against them, I don't think he would want to race me if he thinks I'm cheating. But there you go. Stadium you went to, there were like 1,000 APs? Yeah. I am prepping for another 100% run. This one is going to be SCM. And so SCM means system clock manipulation. I may have broken my SCM here. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure if SCM is not broken, then one of the hedgehog pies is going to cast fire on Cloud. I'm not positive, though. The Kuma thread, yeah. I mean, that was a pretty big deal in the community when that happened. That's actually how I became a mod, was that Kuma stepped down from being a mod, and then there was need for another mod, and I was the one that they asked. So funny how that works out. What is SCM? Exclamation point SCM, baby! There it is. How long is the run? It's about the same. It's just that all of like the main pain points of RNG are sort of guaranteed to be good. So for example, you always get a first try Earth Mallet. Now, and do another SCM run to finish it, you know? Okay, we need to get a fight here. And this is a R1, L1 escape. So, do they cast fire on... Oh, maybe I didn't break SCM! Yo, I think we're actually fine. Okay, okay. And then now... we just do a normal escape here. Yeah, okay. I think we're actually fine. That's awesome. Be Fresh Games. Thank you for raiding on in. Hello, welcome. Hello, hello. What were you up to today? Do 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 do. Okay, it sort of goes back to a conversation that's sort of drama-ish, but I do got to bring up one thing too. Is okay, so remember I said earlier, I said, all right, so what happened was, oh yeah, we have to potion Cloud here because I don't remember why I have to potion Cloud here actually. That's kind of funny. Oh, it's because the AI of the grunts always attack the character with the most HP, and we need it to be Cloud. Right. Okay. Anyway, the full story with the cheating accusation thing was that I beat P-Town's PC run on PlayStation, which is crazy because the PC version is like an hour faster just from load times. Yet I beat his PC time on PlayStation. So then we were like, that's weird. I wonder how fast we can do it on PC. So Monetary Dragon and I both then ran PC. We just did like throwaway runs, like that 1455 was really kind of a throwaway run. But there you go. I beat his run on PC by over an hour. By over an hour, I beat his run. So that is when then he accused me of cheating, something about GameStop, blah, 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 right? He was mad about it, right? But then, after he was mad about it, and after he accused me of cheating, he then watched my whole run on his stream and took a bunch of notes on it. And then shortly after that, PB'd himself by 45 minutes. After actually watching my whole run and taking notes on it, oh, suddenly he can do it 45 minutes faster. So that was hilarious. I don't know. So that's like the actual whole story. And so now though that 1455 we've beaten by another 23 minutes, which is pretty great. Pretty good, pretty great run. Really great run. I would like to go for sub 1430 though. Sub 1430 definitely possible. I just need to, you know, I just need to not make a big mistake like I did. Where does my run get posted? So I do already have it on YouTube. As far as it appearing on speedrun.com, one of the other moderators needs to verify it. So right now it's in the queue to be verified by one of the other moderators. No idea when that's going to happen. It could be It could be today. It could be 2 more weeks. Where's the splits? Oh, we're just doing SCM practice today. I'm trying to see if I've got my save files for SCM, and then I would like to attempt an SCM hundo on Sunday. Ace is generally the hundo verifier, if not me. And so, I mean, he's taken the blame, but the other two could also do it if they wanted, or if they had time, I should say. Hundos take a long time to verify, though. Like, I'm not sweating at all if it takes 3 weeks to verify, because it's a 14-hour run that has a lot of objectives. You know, it's the type of run that takes a long time to verify. And yo, Allegrenix, yeah, we're talking about hundo. Whoop. So I don't really remember at all what happened on the SCM hundo, except for Chocobo Racing being really bad. So it'll be very interesting to see the splits that day. We lost like 15 minutes, I bet. And then, yeah, I'm guessing there's just a ton of other time to save based on execution for the rest of the... for the rest of the run. It was bad. How much? What was the complaining factor? Was there a lot of complaining also? Because sometimes I feel like I do complain too much. Do we generally watch runs faster? Yeah. A lot of stuff can be sped up. Just gonna end the run, counter broke. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Well, here, it's finally time for the SCM redemption then. Oh, man. Okay, so hopefully I can interpret my own notes for this next fight, which are buffer into item menus, release time during animations. Hopefully, what I'm about to do is what that means. Dude, zero Kainos. And so... Now, is it like this? Is it like this? I hope it's like that. I think they drop a trank if I did it right. Uh-oh, that's a bad sign. Okay, I think SCM's dead, and I have to watch my own run to see how to do that fight. Not that. We want the run.
Hard because you have to hold circle for long enough to open the item menu and then release it within.
Okay, right back here. All right, all right. How the hell do you do this fight?
This fight is hard.
That looks like the correct ATB. Oh, geez, I got it. We gotta have this not be happening. Okay. Sheesh. So. Oh, you just buffer. Okay. You just buffer up circle the first one into the back one. Gotcha, gotcha.
This fight is hard.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And then during that, you do that. And then you go to that guy. Put it in there. That makes sense. All right, I need to write this down better. So, where are those notes? Okay. So this I think should be buffer circle through first grenade. Through first grenade into second menu. Second grenade on back guy. Release time during animations. All right, all right. Yeah, the rest of it is self-explanatory. Okay, great. So now we need to figure out what to do on this run. Now I think we need to see. Oh, but I don't have my numbers anymore. Wait a second. I don't know if I have any of my routing from when I made all of this. Star times? Oh yeah, that's that was a redo thing. This is PC big baby strats. Oh, this is Midgar manipulation. Mia. Ah, jeez. Yeah, none of this is the stuff. Okay, so what if we go to my old files? Oh, it would have been on my desktop. FF7. SCM? Oh, look at all of this. Okay, okay, here we go. Oh, that was elevator manip stuff. This is not right. Short. Oh, I think this was us trying to figure out how to manipulate betting on chocobos instead of racing. New route notes. I don't know. I don't know if it's any of this. Wait, Hundo SCM route? We found it. Here it is. This is what has this information. This is what we're looking for. Okay. For sample, we need this RNG state. Perfect. And now we need to see, do I have Do I have a sample save file? It sure doesn't look like it. Assuredly not. Ah, shit. Save file for this, it turns out. I thought I did. Well, I think that's all the SCM stuff I can do then today. Shoot. I should have. Yeah. I should have not Alt F4'd, and I should have gone up to the save point and made a save so that we could do this. Because in order to practice it, I would have to go. I'd have to run up to sample again, which we could do. It's just that I would also like to play Expedition 33 today, but I guess maybe I won't. I mean, should we just practice this manip again instead, and not do new Expedition 33 stuff?
Yes.
I guess that's what we got to do. All right. Let me exit again then.
Yes.
And let me see. So speed square. Yeah, this is our seed. All right. All right. All right. It must be done. I mean, if I'm going to be if I plan on doing this run on Sunday, then we need to get through Midgar. Correct, Drag. And so to reintroduce Speed Square really quickly to people, so SCM is all about your system clock time, right? So the time of the system at which you start the game is what sets your starting RNG seed, the time and date. However, that's how the vanilla game runs. With Speed Square, in order to make it so that we don't have to mess with our system clock, instead, Speed Square can inject its own seed. This way, this solves two problems, right? Firstly, it means that we can do SCM without changing our system clock, which causes all kinds of problems. But secondly, it means that for runs that do not use SCM, we can have it do a random seed, which is, you know, better than just using whatever the system clock happens to be at. Anyway, I'm gonna run to the bathroom during the opening cinematic here. And then we'll run through the SCM Midgar real quick. Be right back. Okay, okay. So this'll be like a mock regular run here. And yeah, so SCM, it affects battle RNG. When you watch a speedrun of this game, generally battle RNG is not manipulatable. The only way to manipulate it is with SCM, and so that's what we're doing. So we got the first turn there, he did 39 damage. Watch now, he's gonna do 38 damage. How about that? Because we are currently manipulating battle RNG. And then battle RNG is what decides Barrett's level ups here. Damage, ATB, most importantly you could maybe say, well, it also, it's like steal attempts, critical hits, item drops, but also very importantly, it's things like what enemies decide to do on their turn, you know? I could see myself doing a challenge run of this game at some point. The thing is, I love video games. Just in general. And so I don't want FF7 to be the only thing I ever play, you know? Speedrunning FF7 already takes up an extremely large portion, an extremely significant like percentage of my video gaming time. And I want to play other games also. Squidzilla, the best place to look for something like that would be Chorus Encore. If you Google search Chorus Encore, there is a repository of customs that people have made. And you can like filter if you want to see only drums, only guitar, that kind of thing. I've got another idea. Speaking of drums, just speaking of drums, what up, said no one? I found this seed. Oh, okay, how is this seed found? There actually is a little bit more to it. Ace gave me a sheet of seeds that get you a first turn on the first fight. So I didn't need to look for a first turn on the first fight. I had a sheet of seeds from Ace to work with that simply get you a first turn on the first fight. And then I just one by one went through them until I found one that I liked. But yeah, speaking of drums, what if instead of any Expedition 33 stuff today, what if we do our little Midgar practice here, and then I play drums? What if we do that? I want to play some drums. That sounds really fun. And yo, Fran. So all of these battles are part of the manipulation, by the way. The big thing about the manip is that we need every battle to be the expected battle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. We need every battle to be the expected battle, and we need every be the exact correct number of frames long. I'm undeserving of the quality. I already played through Expedition 33, but yeah, I've heard that the new thing is really good. I was excited about Expedition 33 the day it was revealed on that fucking Xbox conference or whatever it was. And it was like, wow, that's a really cool premise for a story. It's turn-based, holy shit. And I was all about it right away. Played it the day it came out. Oh yeah, we were all about it. By the way, Barrett's about to crit. Here comes the Barrett crit. Boom, how do you like that? Oh yeah, Noonish. Yeah. I'll definitely be finishing Dragon Quest 6. All right. Here's where we get our Braver. And then here, we do a regular attack and hold with Barret. And what's really cool here is the tail laser is going to crit Cloud. And that's going to almost entirely fill his limit bar in one shot. Boom. And look at that. That's what SCM is, Rez. That's the whole point today. I'm going to have to just do a YouTube video about SCM. And here he dies. The overrated slop. Oh man, the game is so good, dude. But hey, yeah, Dragon Quest has been great so far. I'm on 6. I played 1 through 5. I'm on 6 now. All right, Signalis is one that I've been recommended many times. By the way, here they're gonna attack Cloud and give him his limit. There you go. We can tell because we are doing SCM. We are manipulating. We are doing battle RNG manipulation, which is only possible on PC. And because it is so warping to how to speedrun the game, it is also its own leaderboard. You are not allowed to do battle RNG manipulation on the regular PC leaderboard. So we're doing it now for fun. What's going to be extra fun is when we get to the actual run, where like the majority of it isn't manipulated, and people are going to keep asking about... People are going to be asking all day on every part, why can't we manipulate this? Why can't we manipulate this part? And the answer is almost always going to be because it's not worth it. Well, maybe, you know, we can make a command, !Y, and it'll just say, because it's not worth it. All right, all right. What's the utility? You can craft a really fast run that's really consistent. And so it's a very different type of competition, you know? Like, a big part of FF7 competition is the RNG, and this run still has a lot of RNG in it, because we don't manipulate everything, because it's not worth it. But yeah, as far as the... So, as far as, like, why do we do what we do? I mean, I'm, like, the only person who runs... Who cares about SCM, I feel. At this point in time, you know? So, really, I'm just kind of competing with myself for fun, as far as this goes. Because it's, you know, like I said, it's shoved off to its own leaderboard, because it's so... because it's just so different the way that you play. But I think that the routing that I did for it thus far was really fun. And, you know, that's about it. It's fun. Be interested if getting set up on PC wasn't such a huge pain. So what is your trouble on PC? And yo, Vane. So SCM is battle RNG manipulation, and prep means I'm practicing for Sunday. I think I'm gonna do an SCM hundo on Sunday. Every time you try to install it, your inputs are borked. So the way that I do it, I have Steam input just past the game's default keyboard controls. So, like, I mean, if you are interested, I could maybe try to help you. What's the time slot? I'm gonna try to start at like 9 a.m. probably. But yeah, yeah, anytime, McGurkin. I would be willing to help if you want another set of eyes on it, you know. But I understand if you're just, you know, if you're just like, whatever. We're going for SCM, KP the Beard Man. It's one that I also already have the record on, but it's basically like... it's hundo, but we're allowed to manipulate battle RNG. And it should be faster because we can manipulate battle RNG. But my run last week was so good that it's better than the SCM run that I did. And so because of that, it makes me want to go back and do another SCM run to beat the one from the other week. Sounds good, McGurkin. Are you doing any PlayStation running in the near future? Is it a raw manipulation where you set some numbers to show up? Yes, in that, so the way that it works by default is that the game uses your the Unix timestamp of the system clock as the initial value of system RNG. And system RNG is then what's used to seed battle RNG. So that's the basis of it. Now, the speed square mod that we use to regulate the game's speed and frame rate also has a secondary bonus of replacing that system with you being able to just type the seed in yourself instead of having to actually change your system clock time, which just makes it more convenient. All right. Buy an iron bangle here. Did the hundo get verified? Not quite yet. I mean, I verified it to my own satisfaction, but one of the other speedrun mods has not yet verified it for placement on the board yet. But now we're in Tifa's bar, so we gotta find something else to talk about for a minute. There we go. What was your guys' favorite trailer from the game advertisements last night? I think they started out really, really strong with Derelict. Did you guys see the trailer for Derelict during the pre-show? Maybe it was it during the pre-show? It might have been at the start of the actual show. Derelict looked fucking awesome. So that I've got my eye on that one. The Divinity trailer did look cool. However, it was only cinematics, right? It was only a cinematic trailer. So, you know, I'm gonna wait until we actually see gameplay of Divinity. The other thing about Divinity, not to be a grumpy grouch, but I really, really don't like Larian's writing. I really don't like the way that the characters talk in, like, Divinity Original Sin 2 or Baldur's Gate 3. It is not my type of humor, not character dialogue, and so I probably won't like Divinity, even if it's really good. Thought it was dark to be edgelordy. I could see that. I mean, as far as a cinematic trailer goes, I thought it looked really cool. But you know, we'll have to see gameplay, and they need to sell me on the writing, you know, before I'm interested in actually playing it. Now, did you guys see Derelict, though? It looked sick! One of the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy remaster, I could see that for sure. I've heard a lot of complaints about the PC versions of those games. And then I tried to play the PS3 version of Final Fantasy 13 too, and it ran like absolute shit. Like, regular 13, yeah, it was 30 FPS, but it was solid, though, you know? It didn't have further problems. So I was fine with the 30 on that. Bradley the Badger looked very interesting. You wish they didn't reveal Leon for Resident Evil Requiem? You would have kept it a surprise? I see. I could see that. I mean, that is definitely an art versus business kind of situation there, where people are excited about Leon. Showing Leon in the trailer is going to increase the game's sales, just as a fact, you know? And so, I definitely understand why they did it. But I know what you mean, though, where it's like, I like to be surprised by things. Yes. Which is why, once I get sold on a game, I stop looking at any trailers or anything of it, you know? Oh yeah, the new control looked really cool. And it's a funny thing about that, because I have not, in the past, been a fan of Remedy games. However, I never played Control. And I've heard that Control is like their best game. So I should play that game finally. That's true, that there wasn't any gameplay for the new Control. And that's what I mean, is that it's like, so for me to actually be sold on the new Control, I need to play the first one, probably. The yes and no are not from games. The yes is from the Lion King remake from a movie called Best of the Best. And they're both James Earl Jones, which was not intentional. I just picked a funny yes and a funny no, yes. And they both happen to be James Earl Jones by sheer coincidence. No. And then, yeah, Total Warhammer 40K seems very exciting for people who are into that. All right. I'm not sure how this game handles the 2038 problem. If at all. Alright, alright. New computer won't be able to handle the new Total War? What about the Steam machine? Eh? Eh? Alright, this is a row change escape. Very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. I'm really looking forward to the Steam machine because I'm a big fan of the Steam Deck. And like I already do have my computer set up to as easily as possible connect to my TV and play games on it. But the thing is, I still gotta move it to do that, you know? Like I still have to carry my PC over there and put it there, you know? And hook it up. And so Steam Machine will just basically having an excuse to have a gaming PC that's always connected to the TV, I think is great. Yo, TK, I'm doing well. The Japanese version, the Japanese text is faster. For the leaderboards, we just run the English version though. Like there is also, it's two different leaderboards is what I'm trying to get at. There is a leaderboard for there's a leaderboard for English and a leaderboard for Japanese. Did I just screw up SCM? Because getting that row change there seems bad. Because my notes don't... Oh wait, no, that was supposed to be a row change escape. Never mind, that was supposed to be a row change escape, and I actually... Okay, because that's the thing. Everywhere in my notes where I write... Oh, but I didn't take steps? Or did I take steps? I think I took steps. I must have. Okay, anyway, anywhere in my notes where I write normal escape, I think it means that it doesn't matter whether or not you hold left and circle. And then I specify row change escape for when you need to row change, and L1 R1 escape for when you need to not row change. So right there, I thought that was a normal escape and decided to hold left and circle. So the fact that left and circle did something freaked me out. Because it shouldn't do anything on a normal escape. Here, I'll show you on the next one. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So on this next escape, I'm gonna hold left and circle, and you're gonna see that it doesn't do anything. So holding left and circle while we're escaping, so we queue up row changes, but as you can see, we escape before a row change does anything. And so it didn't matter whether I was buffering row changes or not. But yeah. To finish what I was saying, yes, the English and the Japanese versions of this game just have 2 different leaderboards. And as an English speaker / reader, I run the English version. It'd be interesting to run the Jap. You know what? Actually, I had an idea one day. I think it would be really funny to try to speedrun the Japanese version without looking up anything ahead of time, with 0 prep. Just see if I'm able to make it through the game. You know, not being able to read any of the text. I think that would be a funny challenge run. Good luck with bar skip? Exactly. Okay, here we go. Everyone's nodding their head, right? There it is. And yeah, if you don't want a 4-hour speedrun, but you want to speedrun Final Fantasy, I think some of the older ones might be a little shorter, maybe. Or if you run like PC any %, that run is only 90 minutes. However, you might not be super interested in a speedrun where basically you just speedrun through Midgar mostly normally, and then when you get out of Midgar, you just wrong warp to the end, you know? Some people are, you know, a lot of people aren't super interested in that style of run. And yeah, the timing for the button press is very musical. Oh yeah, you could also run with boosters. Hey, some people love the shorter runs. In fact, they've been popping off lately. There have been, Don't worry, Deuce, we're just gonna hold circle. There we go, that should do the trick. There have been a lot of PC runs lately. That category has, or that PC as a platform has been popping off as far as runs go. There we go, there's Airbuster. Don't know why Turbo isn't more common. I think so on PC, most people run with Turbo. Again, Zergu and Shambles. But on PC, most people run with Turbo. Because you can just set it up with Steam. But on PlayStation, there's 2 reasons that Turbo is not super ubiquitous on PlayStation. Reason number 1 is that Turbo controllers for PlayStation are not as easily accessible as like Super Nintendo Turbo controllers, right? Like Super Nintendo, the Turbo controllers are all over the place, and like NES and stuff. But yeah, PlayStation didn't really ever have a super good Turbo controller. Reason number 2 is that people who speedrun this game are generally older dudes that are more what's the word? They're more into like the purity of the legit playthrough, you know? They're like, you know, the idea of like sit down and play the game type speedrunning, you know? Where like if you need special hardware, it's not really legit anymore, or that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Just in general, it's when you have an audience of older runners, that type of sentiment is more common, I think. Now that's just me talking out of my ass. But But I think that that's part of the case. I think that's part of the reason. If Turbo was the main leaderboard, then people would want there to be a no Turbo leaderboard that they would then compete on. You know what I mean? Are there any female runners that I've done verification for? You know what? Not that I know of. I don't think I've ever verified a run that was done by a lady. I know one of the biggest Final Fantasy VIII runners is a lady. But, oh, wait. Oh, okay. I know of a FF7 speed running lady. I don't know the last time that she submitted a run though. One who's like currently active. Pet friend Amy, yeah, exactly. I don't know if I've ever verified one of her runs. You know what? I think I have. I think I verified an Amy run before. So there you go. But speedrunning in general is pretty male-dominated. All right. I always come in early on this song. Yeah, what happened to B-Sage? I feel like B-Sage was running this game like every day for a month and then disappeared. Okay. Yo, MR. And yeah, for sure, when this game came out, video games were for sure a like socially stigmatized nerd thing. But as far as demographics go, though, I mean, Final Fantasy is one of the more female represented gamer series, though, isn't it? Like, if you took every series, right, and you said like what percentage of folks are male and female who are playing this game, I feel like Final Fantasy has more ladies playing it than most franchises, right? Skyrim has a huge female following, so I did not know that specifically, but I can vouch that my wife is a big Skyrim fan. But only if it's been modded beyond recognition. She doesn't like Skyrim, but Skyrim modded beyond recognition, oh, she's into that. She's all about it. She likes fantasy stuff in general a lot, though. Like, she's been playing this game now called, Manor Lords? Manor Lords. Yeah, she's all about Manor Lords right now. Which isn't even really fantasy. I think it's just medieval. She just likes medieval stuff, you know? Mom and two sisters, all your friends would come over and do FF7 weekends? That's awesome. She'd love Dwarf Fortress. I think she would too. Well, I think she wants her place to look cool though. Doesn't Dwarf Fortress basically look like a spreadsheet? I don't know. I think she needs to be able to see the dwarves a little bit better. Oh, there's a newer one with actual graphics. Okay, okay. I'll have to ask her about it. I feel like I've asked her about it before. But yeah, Manor Lords is the big one that she's been playing lately, where like you build a village, I think you take over the places that are around you and build villages there, and you know, you got people like with jobs, you know, all of the different villagers have their own jobs and shit. But then they also made it so that there's like, you can go into like third person. You know, it's a bird's eye view isometric game of building, but then you can go into like a behind the back third person and like take a stroll through your village, you know? So that's pretty cool. Troubleshooting which of your 8,000 plus Sims 4 mods are fucking up the game. See, that is Mrs. Dash's wife. Life, I mean, she's my wife. That is her life. Is like troubleshooting lists of mods to get her games working. Oh! Because, yeah, like, the thing is, you guys should see the houses she builds in The Sims. Because it's like, a Sims house is one thing, but Sims houses are always a little too tidy. You know what I mean? Like, they don't, like, naturally have, like, the slop that like, a regular person has. Like a lived-in clutterization, you know what I mean? Oh! Got it! And so what Mrs. Dash likes to do is builds a, you know, she builds a house in The Sims, but then she goes in with like special tools and like console commands and stuff in order to draw little objects of like clutter all over the place, you know? Just like little bottles of things on the bathroom counter, you know, like a crumpled up towel in the corner of the bathroom. And like all of she goes inside of every one of like the cabinets, you know, and like fills it with dishes and things, you know. She is very, very detail oriented about the looks of those, of the things that she builds. And I always tell her, like, she could make YouTube videos about the shit she builds, but, you know, she just does it for fun, for herself. Tactics Remake, nice. How long is that run? The Tactics run? Just for the sake of doing it, yep. All right. Isn't that the main thing in The Sims, to build for your family? I think a lot of people play The Sims to try to do like a career simulation. Where it's like, you build a house starting with a small amount of money, and then you get a job. You have to like build your Sim skills to get a job. Well, first you just get a shit job, right? And then you can like spend that money on things that allow you to build your skills to get like promoted or a better job. Eventually you make more money, and then you can buy nicer stuff, right? Like, I think that's like the gameplay loop of The Sims. Building is a big part of it, but I'm saying that what she does is she builds the house, and then instead of playing the game, she goes into like ultra detail oriented building time, doing things that have no gameplay mechanics, but they just, you know, it's just fun to like organize it all and make it all look more like actually lived in and stuff. You know, she has more fun doing that than engaging with like the, you know, like the challenge part of the game mechanics. Yeah. But yeah, when I played The Sims, it was all about like trying to build up the career, make money, try to get married. I could never get married though. They never wanted to marry me for some reason. Any percent is an hour and a half, and you're at 222? I mean, you gotta start somewhere. My first FF7 run was like 13 hours or something for an any percent. As per the conversation earlier, I think the way that you get past bar skip while playing the Japanese version is you just don't do bar skip. And yo, Lone Wolf. I'm doing quite well. Hope you're doing well also. Spent a long time in Harvest Moon sweet talking the nurse, proposed, and she said, "I'm a nurse, I can't get married." I feel like, is this a thing that ladies can do? Just say whatever their job is, and then they can't get married because of it, regardless of what their job is, you know? Because it's like in Star Wars, when, like, Padme won't get married because she's a senator. But it's like, what about being a senator means that you can't get married? Maybe it's a cultural thing, though. If you try sometime, you may get what you need. Speaking of nurses, my mom was a nurse. She's retired now. But she was a nurse my whole life. And actually, I think she still goes and works sometimes. Like, they still call her to work sometimes. But anyway, big Rolling Stones fan. She loves Rolling Stones. She loves Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, fucking... I feel like those are her big three. Well, and then she's also really into grunge. She really likes Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. Yeah, like, the thing is, so I'm, like, a big music guy, you know? And, like, I talk about music all the time. The thing is, I grew up in a very music-heavy household. You know, those are, like, my mom's music tastes. My dad, he really likes, like, the Scorpions, He's really into a lot of hair metal, you know? Just stuff that has good guitar. My dad, like, if there's a shredding guitar in it, he likes it, you know? And so he's all about, like, he's all about a lot of that kind of stuff that was, like, on the radio that had good guitar in it. And he's always played guitar, you know? He's always been someone to, like, hear a song that he likes on the radio, and then, you know, just while he's sitting around or watching TV or doing whatever, he'll just have a guitar and he'll just try to figure out songs that he's heard on the radio, you know? He's pretty good at it. I've heard of baby metal. Baby metal is fun for a song at a time, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't put on a baby metal album, but when a baby metal song comes on every once in a while, I have a good time until it's over. Your dad, or your mom was into gospel and dad was into funk. Your sister was into rap. My sister it's funny. You ever hear someone who says that they like everything? Oh, I listen to everything. But they never actually listen to everything. My sister actually listens to everything. Like, she definitely has like a preference that she leans toward of, like, she really likes country and rap. But I mean, she will also listen to, like, if you listen to, like, just her playlists or whatever, there'll be country, there'll be rap, and then there'll be, like, a fucking Dimmu Borgir song or something, you know? Like, she really does like everything. And then my brother is the one who kind of got me into metal. Right, like growing up, I mean, I've talked about how, like, the big band that got me listening to music was Green Day, and it was their old stuff, right? Because this was in the '90s, so, like, Dookie was their album that, like, I really got into, and then later I got into, like, CKY, and that kind of stuff. But it was my brother that got me into metal. And I'll tell you exactly what it was too. Do you guys know the song "Turn the Other Way" by Avenged Sevenfold? It's off their first album. There is one guitar riff in that song that I heard, and I was like, holy shit, this is such a cool guitar riff. And so I started listening to that song, and then then I started listening to the album, and then I started listening to Waking the Fallen, their next album, and then I just started listening to metal after that. Iron Maiden, I like a lot. Iron Maiden is great. Example of baby metal? Someone else should tell you the example, because I can only tell you what their most popular song, I think, is called "Gimme Chocolate." But maybe they've got another big song or a better song that somebody who knows them better can tell you. Lacuna Coil, I have only heard in Rock Band. They have a song in Rock Band, and that's the only one. It's called "Our Truth." That's their only song I've heard. It's kind of cool. I don't know. It's not really my style, but like I wouldn't put them on based on that song. But when if they come on the radio, right, then I'll be like, all right, I'm kind of jamming to this a little bit. The guitar tone is pretty cool, and there's like one little instance of double kick in it, you know? Oh, did they also have a song in Guitar Hero 3? Then I would have heard that one as well. Because I did play Guitar Hero 3. All right. Yo, Roller. That's me. That'd be me. Okay, hopefully we don't get the preemptive here. I forgot how to prevent the preemptive, but all right, Cloud Tifa Aeris, nice. I never beat Jordan either. But yeah, I mean, Guitar Hero 2 was way better than Guitar Hero 3. I was someone who I started on Guitar Hero 2. All right, I'm not so cool that I started on Guitar Hero 1. I started on Guitar Hero 2, and then I got Guitar Hero 3 when it came out, but it was very clearly a huge step down. But then Rock Band came out, and then I was all about Rock Band after that. Never played another Guitar Hero after 3. I just went on to Rock Band and went down that road instead. Okay, next up. So, so battle RNG manipulation is about to get really relevant again. So first of all, we do a row change escape on the next fight. And there we go. 1, 2, 3.5. Now, we gotta put steel on Tifa. Alright, and here's where it starts. So, buffer down and circle to steal the ether and start escaping as soon as the steal begins. So, for anybody just joining, we are manipulating battle RNG. Did I get the Guitar Hero DS thing? No, but I did get the Rock Band on PSP game. Alright, so here it is. Buffer down and circle. And then start escaping. Boom, there it is. That gets us that ether. It's very important to buffer the inputs and put things in at exactly the right times. Otherwise, the battle will not last the correct number of frames, which will throw off the manipulation. And yeah, the Rock Band game on PSP was great. Oh, bad steps. Perfect example of how Rock Band was just so much more like, just more like, hang on. Yeah. Now we go, boom, boom. I just always felt that Rock Band was more about like video games and it was better designed. It always, you know, like Harmonix made Guitar Hero 1 and 2 and then sold it to Activision and made Rock Band, right? And you could tell that Activision didn't really know what they were doing. They were just trying to get money out of it, you know? And so it was like, how do we make we need to make a handheld game for more sales, right? What are we gonna do? Oh, let's make this fucking abomination of an attachment for the DS to attach to the DS in order to make the handheld sort of act like the guitar controller. Instead of what Harmonix did of, oh, we want to make a handheld Rock Band game? Well, let's make a good handheld rhythm game and then put the Rock Band stylings on it, you know? Man, so I really want to play drums today. So let's finish up the practice here, and I'll make a save file for practice also. For sample. I think we got to do our 14.5 right away here. Oh my god, I killed the SCM again because I stopped paying attention for 1 second, dude. Well, there you go. There you go. SCM is dead. I stopped paying attention for 1 second, and now our manip is dead. This is the problem with SCM. Every single battle you have to do exactly perfectly, or the whole thing's fucked. Oh my god. You got the Bladder of Steel achievement on Expert. I actually tried to do that, Crimson, like a couple months ago. I tried to do it on drums. And, I was not able to not pee. Well, actually, here's what really happened. My yellow pad stopped working halfway through. I had to bust out the soldering iron and fix my yellow pad halfway through. But I still, so then I also peed, you know? And then I did finish the set, and I got 419 out of 420 stars. And of course, the 1 star I missed was that I 4-starred Visions. I only 4-starred Visions. I almost failed out of it. I dropped my stick twice during Visions and almost failed it. But I ended up with, I 419 out of 420 stars on the old endless set list. There's only 120? Oh, I gotcha. For a second, you had me going for a second. Speaking of drums, I kind of want to go play them. And I did just kill the SCM on this run, which kind of makes me just want to go play drums now. And then on Sunday, I mean, so tomorrow, here's what I'll do. Tomorrow, I will practice this SCM off stream so that I don't screw it up on Sunday. But right now, I kind of want to play drums. How would you guys feel about that? Swapping over to the kit and playing Yarg for a bit. Hit the skins. Yo, Lyra. Now, here's what I gotta tell you, though. Those of you that are on YouTube, I can't stream it to YouTube. It has to be Twitch. YouTube shuts the stream down. Twitch doesn't. So you will have to migrate over if that's what we're doing. But hello, Lyra. We're talking about switching over to a drum stream. Yeah. YouTube gets really grumpy about copyrighted stuff on a live stream. Is the reason. Like, Content ID runs in real time on YouTube streams, and they will actually cut a stream if they're playing a bunch of copyrighted stuff. Which a drum stream is a bunch of copyrighted stuff. But YouTube, as long as I don't publish the VOD... Sorry, Twitch, as long as I don't publish the VOD, Twitch is cool with it. Man, I tell you, when we actually do the SCM run, I am going to have to... I feel like I'm going to have to lock in away from chat the whole time until we're out of Midgar. But I'm gonna set up the drum kit. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then if you now and look, if you are slightly, you know, if you're looking for more FF7, just wait until Sunday, where hopefully I'll be playing it for 14 and a half hours. All right? All right. So hang on, I gotta take this, we gotta do this. All right, we have to convert the studio to a drum stream. Or we could do Expedition 33. Okay, you know what? Let's do a poll, all right? We're going to do a poll. The poll is going to be drums or Expedition 33 new stuff. So here we go. New poll. What do drums or Expedition 33 new stuff? All right. A 3-minute poll on Twitch has begun. I don't know how to do a YouTube poll, all right? So if you're on YouTube and you have something to say about this as well, then perhaps pop over to Twitch just to do your vote. So here we go. We're it looks like people want drums. I'm glad to see it also because I love playing drums. But right now, drums are winning by a landslide, which means if you're looking for Expedition 33, you better get in there and vote. But now that I've boosted the Expedition 33, right, that means that if you're looking for drums, you better get in there and counteract the incoming Expedition 33 votes. But yeah. I mean, just judging by the early results on the poll, though, I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna go turn the light on by the kit, okay? Oh, all right. And yeah. Last time you know what, actually? Last time I played the drums, it was just before the big PB, the 1432. I played my heart out that night, and then, you know, went to bed, got up, and got the 1432. And I was actually kind of worried that the blisters that I had from drumming were gonna mess with my run, but sure didn't. And all right. Moved over from YouTube for drums? Nice. All right, let's start setting this kit up. Look, things can change. We'll take a look at the poll, you know, if things change. But for now, I'm gonna start setting this kit up. All right. Now, real quick, I gotta do my wrist stretches. Be right back. Oh, all right, all right. All right, all right. Now, here's the kind of annoying part, all right? All right, so here's the kind of annoying part is that, first of all, like I said, if you're on YouTube, you'll have to switch over to Twitch because YouTube doesn't let me do music streams. So, in fact, actually, I should probably put a link in Twitch or in YouTube just in case. Here. Oh.
Yes.
All right, all right. So there you go. There is a link to the Twitch channel if you want to pop in there. And then here's the deal: is the stream needs to go down for 5 seconds in order for me to switch to that computer, because I need to stream from that computer instead of this computer. So I need to turn off the stream on this computer and turn it on the other one. I'm working on rewiring here so that this doesn't have to happen. But right now it has to happen. So what that means, first of all, bye YouTube. Hope to see you on Twitch.